through the career path, I got to see the do's and don'ts of interviewing, of resume writing, and kind of what works and what doesn't. It's certainly going to be personality based with who you're interviewing with, but one example that I was talking about earlier, I had all these resumes in front of me, was looking for an entry-level position, and at this point, even the internship positions, I had people coming in with experience. So it was really setting the bar pretty high at, entry level. That means I need you to have at least 1 or 2 years at this point, because that's what people were applying with. And I had a guy who was kind of right there, but he wasn't the most experienced. I hadn't put his resume aside yet, but it just wasn't a standout yet. But what he had done is, with his cover letter and his resume, attached a writing sample that was a press release he had written about himself being the best candidate that KGV Texas was going to interview. And it not only showed me his writing ability, but it also was a really creative way to stick in my mind that he was going to think outside the box, he was going to take that extra step, and that he understood how to use a press release as a tool in public relations. And so I went ahead and brought him in for an interview, and he was impressive, but we had some really impressive candidates from other areas as well. So I was still trying to make my decision, and the next day I got a package from him delivered to the office. During the interview, I had mentioned to him that we had a new business meeting with a client in Mexico, and he remembered that, and he sent an English-Spanish dictionary and highlighted the adjectives that described him as a worker in there. And he got the job. I mean, he's still working at the agency, has been there for a couple of years now, and got the experience that he didn't have on his resume. So now he's brought that creativity to the table, and he's got the agency time under his belt. So he'll be a really good candidate for his next opportunity. But that's just one of the do's, I would say, is to make those kinds of impressions. Really think outside the box during an interview. Not only go in knowing about that company. I always liked it when people asked me questions showing that they had already researched the company. Rather than asking me who our clients were, they might ask me a question about something that our clients had done, because they had already gone to the website and seen the kind of work that we were doing. But also just following up and making memorable impressions was really what was important for people to get their foot in the door from the agency standpoint. And sometimes it wasn't even that overt as applying for a job. I had another student from A&M that she was going to be graduating in a couple of months, so she looked in the Association of Former Student Directory and was trying to find someone with the same degree as her. There's not a lot of us ag journalism majors out there, so that narrowed it to begin with. And she found that we were from the same hometown and had other commonalities, so she emailed me and asked if I would just go in an informational interview with her over lunch and just tell her how I got my first job, what I was doing, etc. So I was really impressed with her when we met. She asked smart questions. She brought her resume, and she already had a really good start. Even though she hadn't even had her first job, she had really good internship experience, but she'd also applied experiences that were outside of school and showed them as real world experiences through volunteer opportunities, and just really taking advantage of the chances that came before her. So I always remembered her. She would follow up with me regularly. She didn't pester me, but she stayed in front of me, and a year and a half later an entry-level position came up, and we ended up hiring her as well. So that's just kind of another example of just staying in touch with people that you meet along the way, and that brief interview with her really impressed me enough that I remembered her throughout that year and a half to be able to give her a call when the opportunity came up.